Aloha everyone, Justin here from Aloha Creative Design. We're here with Cody from Moov Labs and Ghost Plugins. I'll let him introduce himself. Cody?
Yeah, so my name is Cody. I'm the founder of Moov Labs and Ghost Plugins. We do things a little bit differently within the Squarespace community. With Moov Labs, we actually build websites for free for clients, and then we manage it for them at a small monthly rate. And then with Ghost Plugins, it's a resource filled with a bunch of stuff for your Squarespace website, such as free plugins, super plugins, which are more premium plugins, and website design templates that we label as ghost templates. So great resource for those who use and love Squarespace.
Yeah, and from my experience, Ghost Plugins and Moov Labs have a great concept, and if you want to elevate your site or get a great looking template because you don't want to hire a designer or your budget doesn't fit it for your business, they're a fantastic resource. So what kind of got you started with design in Squarespace?
Honestly, I kind of got thrown into it. So I had a really bad experience with a designer I hired a long time ago to do a website project before I knew how to do websites. And I ended up kind of getting a little scammed. He took my money and ran. So I ended up with no budget. I ended up with no budget left over. So I kind of was stuck in a spot where I had to build it myself. So I actually found Squarespace, and out of necessity, I had to build a website on my own. And at the end of it, I was really intrigued by the process. So once I finished my website, I was like, oh, I kind of want to learn more about this. This was kind of cool. So then I started looking at, YouTube videos, coding stuff, and eventually just found my passion and started kind of getting more into that, and then decided to, start building websites for clients, and then things just kind of fell into place there.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's kind of funny. I think a lot of people that are in the expert community of Squarespace and been working it for a while, it's like they have one way or another of getting in there. But I feel like a lot of us are kind of entrepreneurs and got into it. We dealt with other people that said, okay, I'm going to deliver you X, Y, and Z. You pay them, and then you're like, okay, where did they go? What happened? And it's like, I hear a lot of my clients saying that, where they're like, yeah, I dealt with 3 designers before this, and they all just like didn't deliver what I wanted. They couldn't see my vision, or they just literally just ran and wouldn't talk to them anymore. So it's really sad to hear that and see that. But
yeah, I mean, that's what happened to me. It was about in like 2013, 2014. So it was a while ago, but yeah, he just promised the world, and I gave him, the deposit, and then just vanished. Really gone, so kind of got stuck in a spot, but it worked out in the end, and I'm happy that it kind of the way it did.
Yeah, definitely. So segueing from that, I think what do you think builds the trust between you and a client coming to you and saying like, hey, I'd love to have you build a website, because there's a million people online that can build a website, but it's like, how do you build that trust with a client?
That's the thing. There's so many people out there that build websites, and clients don't really know who they can really trust. They're kind of really putting their faith in you. So the things that I was able to implement at the beginning, and as I continue to grow my companies, I'm very transparent with what we do and what we don't do. I want to make sure that those expectations are kind of laid out front and center. And then just really good communication right from the get-go. Let them know, hey, this is what's going to be going on in terms of communication and project, and just transparency. Just be informative, transparent, and just let them know, right from the get-go how things work. When you kind of establish that trust at the beginning with your emails not taking a week, and you have a contract and you have like all those things laid out, they're more trusting with that because they know that you're running a good business.
Yeah, definitely. Great answer. So out of all the platforms that are out there, people know about Wix, they know about WordPress, maybe they know about Magento, and they know about Squarespace. It's like, why do you choose Squarespace as your CMS of choice?
So when I first started, I actually did go to like Wix and Weebly before I found Squarespace when I had that situation happen. And what I like about Squarespace is the simplicity. It's very straight to the point, very clean, simple to use, especially for a DIY user. As time goes on, now I do code and things like that. But at the beginning, it was just really straightforward and clean, simple. And my impression was just really, really good with it. As time went on, I actually don't build in anything else other than Squarespace. So, their message of simple, straight to the point, minimal, that really helped a lot.
Yeah. So when did you kind of evolve to the point in your career where you decided to start Ghost Plugins, which is kind of a great resource for a lot of people if they don't know about it, to get custom design templates, plugins, and all sorts of fun stuff for Squarespace. It's more, I guess, you geared towards entry level, and then there's stuff for intermediary, and there's stuff for experts as well. So you want to kind of fill in the blanks there and let people know
Yeah,
about Ghost?
yeah, I kind of do things a little bit differently, and I noticed a couple of years ago when I was looking for something very specific to implement into Squarespace, and at this point I knew code, I knew CSS and stuff. I couldn't find what I was looking for. And so it kind of just clicked in my head. I was like, there's these great blogs, there's these great plugin shops, there's some other great resources. But there's not really a very specifically known area for them to just come for everything they need. So in 2018 is when I launched Ghost. Ghost is coming up on its second birthday. So it's grown ever since. But yeah, so we offer free plugins. We offer super plugins, which are more premium plugins. Website designs that we call Ghost templates. So yeah, so we kind of just saw that this was kind of missing in the Squarespace world and the Squarespace community, and decided, hey, let's build it and let's bring something great that can help everyone, especially with the free plugins.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I definitely use a lot on your platform, and it's really fantastic to see the extra things that you can add onto a site and kind of have it be a little bit more differentiated from whatever else is out there and in their template field, without having to actually go in and write a bunch of custom code yourself, which both of us know takes a lot of time and effort to kind of get it to work properly on mobile devices, on desktops and tablets and all those sorts of things. So I would assume a lot of the viewers that we're going to have here are kind of figuring out what Squarespace is, or they're going to be web designers themselves asking questions. So I think a big question that a lot of web designers have is, being a small business, where exactly do you find clients, and like how do you bring people in the door?
So at the very beginning, I did the cold calling. I actually called businesses that I found on Yelp that I looked at their website and I was like, okay, well, I need to find a client. So I would literally just call them up and be like, hey, my name's Cody. Do you need a website? So it wasn't, I wouldn't recommend it, but that's what I did at the very beginning. And it actually worked. Once I actually got my first couple clients, if you give them a really good experience, you give them a really good product, at the end, they're going to share it with their friends and family. They'll still share also a negative experience, but if you give them a really good experience, it's going to really, really help with that. And also, when I first started, I actually did post something on like my Facebook or my Twitter and just said, hey, I'm building websites. If anybody needs help, hit me up. And I did get a couple new clients that were just within my circle of people I knew. And then, at the end of those projects, they had a really good experience, whether I knew them or not, and they shared it with their friends. And then the referrals started coming in. And it's okay. Honestly, it's okay at the end of a project to say, hey, if you know anyone, send them my way to your clients, and they'll totally do it. They're not going to say no to that. They'd be more than happy to help you out.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It seems like the big thing at the end of these projects is getting a review from people, and then kind of getting those referrals as well, and saying, like, just asking, hey, do you know anybody? Or if you know anybody in the future, send them my way and I'll give you a kickback or take care of you or whatever needs to happen. And most people want to just take care of you because they had such a great experience with you, but they definitely will share that bad experience if they had it, and they're definitely more inclined to share the bad experience than the good experience.
Yeah. No matter what experience they have, they're going to share it. Typically, the negative ones get a little bit more shared. So you definitely don't want to give them a bad time with your service. But, if they had a good time and they love their website, ask them right at the end, hey, if you know anyone, refer them. And like you said, the kickback. We did, I think, like $100 Amazon gift cards for referrals. And people loved it. It's nothing much, but it's something. So they appreciate that.
That's awesome. So segueing into the next question, what do you think differentiates a designer? So somebody's on the platform, they're looking to maybe hire a designer. What differentiates somebody that's going to build a $500 website, a $2,000 website, a $5,000 website, and then a $10,000 website? Because I think those are kind of the points where you can get into.
So what differentiates the designer from all those other, in their categories? I really think it does fall under experience. So you will find a lot of people who've been doing this for a very long time. They have the knowledge of what they need to do with the website, whether that's SEO or, the design, UX, UI, all that kind of stuff. So when you do look at a project that maybe is, I don't know, let's say someone said, $5,000, and versus someone that said 500, you do have to kind of look at that experience in terms of that designer and what they can bring to the table. Doesn't mean that that $500 or $1,000 website is not going to be great. It could be very, 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 very nice. But you know, when you're shopping, just look at the designer and see what they've done from their portfolio, how long they've been doing it, and if the price is a little bit higher, you are paying for that expertise, so they can really, really help take your website to the next level. But you know, more junior designers who are charging $1,500, $2,000, or even great designers that charge that, they're still going to, you know, give you a really good product.
This next question is kind of a segue after that. Being a designer, charging whatever you're charging and progressing through your career, where do you think are some really good resources for designers to go and find good information so they can become the next level, take it from being an entry level to a mid-level to a high-level expert designer? And you always need to stay on top of it, even if you're an expert, because technology changes so quickly.
Yeah, technology changes all the time. So you have to be willing to adapt no matter what level skill set you're at. In terms of resources, when I first started, I actually looked at W3 schools, I looked at YouTube, and I also looked at the Squarespace forum. Squarespace, within the last couple of years, introduced Squarespace Circle, which is a really great resource, especially if you're asking questions. When I first started, I was part of Squarespace Circle, but I was asking questions to learn. And now, as the time has went on and the years have passed, now I'm answering the questions for other people who are learning. So Squarespace Circle is definitely one of the biggest, in my opinion. But also, you know, Ghost is really good with its free code. And a lot of people, we get comments that say, hey, this really helps me learn. So, because they can kind of copy and paste the code and see how everything's working. So obviously, you know, Ghost, I'm going to say, is a really good resource too. But yeah, just always searching stuff online too. There's a lot of great blogs by other Squarespace designers. If you have a Squarespace designer that you know of, that you admire, check out their website and see if they have a blog. A lot of them do tutorials. So those would be other great resources as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think we actually met on the Squarespace Circle. I asked a bunch of questions about some stuff when I was starting out a couple of years ago, and you were very helpful. I know there's a big handful of people in that community that are just, you ask a question and they're there for you. Like it's kind of like you're part of this bigger Squarespace family, which is really good. And I think that's a big thing too, going back to the thing earlier, or the question that we had earlier that we were talking about, what's the difference between Wix, WordPress, Weebly, all those other ones in Squarespace. I actually worked on Wix for a little while. They were trying to get me to move to that platform. So I thought, I'll try it out, see what it's all about. They had all these cool things and it looked fantastic. And then I got into it and I was like, wow, there's kind of a lot of hiccups. And then I tried reaching out to their customer support and it was like, nope, that's not happening. They're not going to get back to you. And if they got back to you, it was like a week or 2 weeks later and their answers weren't really what you wanted. And I know with Squarespace, you can reach out to their team. And if you're a Circle member, you get a dedicated team that reaches out to you faster, and they really are great at answering questions. And if it's like a custom code question or anything, I know that Cody and his team are really good at answering those questions. And if you buy anything or work with them on their website, they're really good at supporting you. So definitely want to shout out and appreciate that.
Yeah, and you mentioned Squarespace Circle is just a really good tight-knit kind of group. And that's what I've noticed too, that the Squarespace community is very, very helpful, whether that's on Circle or even on a Facebook community page. There's a lot of designers that have their own little Facebook community for Squarespace users. So yeah, Squarespace has been really helpful, the user base and even support. So
yeah, definitely. So moving on to our final question here. If you could give somebody that's in the market for a new website, or they're kind of going down that path, like what would you suggest to them to do? Would you expect them to kind of do the research and reach out to a bunch of different people, or should they try and do it on their own? And if they can't do it on their own, then reach out to people? Kind of, what do you think?
I think it really depends on what they want to accomplish. If they're okay doing a do-it-yourself website, then I think Squarespace is a great option, right? If they want to go a little bit further than what Squarespace do-it-yourself kind of allows, or even have like a really custom website, then definitely reach out to a designer. You can actually join the Squarespace forum, not the Circle forum, but just the regular forum. And they have a bunch of resources on there in terms of finding a designer. I know Squarespace has Squarespace Marketplace, but in terms of finding the right designer, there's a couple things that you could do. You could look at their portfolio to see their work. That's obviously number one. You want to see what quality work they're going to, bring to you. The other thing is, and we've actually had clients of ours and members actually reach out to our members that we featured on our website and said, hey, I saw that you had a website done by, Moov. how's your experience? And then, if you gave them a really good experience, they're going to let them know. So we've actually had a lot of people do that as well. So if you see someone like a website on a designer's website that they did, reach out to that client and ask, hey, I saw that you did a website with so-and-so. How was it? You're not going to get a bad answer from that, like a fake answer from that. You're going to get an honest answer. So that would be another thing that I would, recommend.
Yeah, definitely. I think a big thing too to kind of help other designers out there as well is getting testimonials. And it's great to get a written testimonial, but if you can get the client to do a video testimonial, that speaks leaps and bounds over a written testimonial, because a written testimonial, unfortunately, somebody could just write that's within the team, or they could take bits and pieces from what the client said. The video testimonial is, here's me with the camera, this is what I think about that business. So I think if you can get those from your clients, it's fantastic. And it doesn't necessarily need to be something that you get immediately or at the end of the project. It could be something that you're going through the onboarding process and you're like, they're really excited, all these sorts of things. Maybe reach out to them and be like, hey, can you do a video explaining how this process has worked, how you like working with me thus far, and then get 2 of them. So.
Yeah, and there's other tools out there too that verify that actual review. Let's say they don't do a video. There's Yelp, there's Google review, there's Facebook review. So there are other ways too that they can actually allow verification. So I know some of our clients, they have Google reviews on their Google business page, and you can embed those in your site, but they link back to Google. So it's not just like a copy paste text. So even those would even be helpful as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, is making sure that you're getting those reviews on those platforms rather than just taking the reviews and putting them onto your website. Because I know I was doing that a couple of years ago, and I've definitely moved away from doing that. So appreciate that bit of information.
Yeah.
So before we close out, is there anything you think we missed, or anything that you think a designer or somebody looking for a site should know?
Honestly, just do your homework when you're looking for working with a designer. If you're looking to get a website done, if you're looking to become a designer, then like I mentioned, Squarespace Circle, Ghost plugins, a lot of great resources out there that can really help you grow within your new trait that you're trying to take on.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So if anybody wants to get in contact with you, we'll put a link in the description. And do you have any special way that you want them to contact you?
You can just go to ghostplugins.com. And if you have any questions on the free plugins, the super plugins, the templates, or even our membership service, there's a contact link at the bottom of the site. And my team and I are really quick with our responses. So if you have any questions or anything, just shoot us a message and we'd be happy to help.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Cody, for being on the show, being the first episode. And we're going to be moving on to... What's that?
I said, thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This has been an awesome time, and we look forward to it and hopefully having you on soon.
Awesome. Sounds good.